Hey, ladies and gents, it's Barry. How are you today? Another Mark Twain coldest winter I ever spent was a summer in San Francisco day here, at least where I live. I wanted to get on here very briefly um, to remind you about homework and the importance of all of this. And I can't stress it really enough. If we can't get past this hurdle, not much else of what I'm going to say will really have the type of impact it possibly could have, which is ultimately to optimize you and what it is you're trying to do um, with your life, your career, your business, your next steps in your life, your personal confidence, your personal brand, all of these things. It goes all the way back to the very first thing we spoke about, which is this uniqueness of you. I don't know how many of you have been doing your writing in the book of you I talked about. I'm going to actually make a complete video series with appropriate slides to talk through each step along the way. But this writing um, is just so important. On my desktop, if I could show it to you, I have two, four, six, eight, 10, I think 12, I can't count books, but three of them um, are on writing and persuasive writing and impactful writing, not just writing prose. One of the things I told you, which is really important, is that uh, learning how to talk about yourself is going to be a hugely critical skill that most people think they'll figure it out when it happens. And I'm here to tell you, after a zillion years of doing this, both myself and, of course, counseling clients, that it doesn't just happen that way, except for the very few. Even screen actors, stage actors rehearse their lines. So the reason I want to start with you was so you can get familiar with yourself and understand this uniqueness. I asked you to do that very, very early on. So what I ask you to do now in this book of you is to write your story. Whatever that means to you, just talk about yourself and your story. I told you that the single biggest question that lingers for all of us as we go to any next steps. And this could be, I spoke about it specifically to Snigdha the other day with your, relating to your family or to prospective employers or to prospective investors or whomever it is. Why you? Why should somebody choose you above all the other choices they have, including doing nothing? It's a really important question that you need to answer honestly, empathically, factually, with energy, and again, not be boring. I chose the title that I chose for this particular video, Sympathy for the Devil, Wisdom from the Rolling Stones and Austin Powers, for a reason. I don't want to be boring in any of my messages to you or anybody. What does sympathy for the devil mean? There's a line, the opening line of that song was, "Please allow me to introduce myself. I'm a man of wealth and taste." That's the opening line to that song. So I try to take it and use it as a little bit of an entertainment factor to get you to even watch this video. I don't want to be boring to you. I want to try to help you and make you understand all the possibilities and all the different ways to touch the different sensory pieces that we all use as ways to listen and learn and hear and absorb. And in this case, we want people to listen and learn and absorb you. I chose Austin Powers because there's a great scene in I don't can't remember if it's the first or second Austin Powers movie where he's sitting at a blackjack table and he says, "Allow myself to introduce myself." He says, "I'm Richie Cunningham and this is my wife, Oprah." Whatever that inanity means. But again, this introduction part. So you've got to be able to talk about yourself. It's a really daunting question in an interview when somebody says, "Tell me about yourself." Trust me. I beg you. Um, Start to write your story. Start to get familiar with how your story works. What do you want to say about yourself? What snippets or pieces would you most like to bring up if you say to that person, what do you want to hear about my personal life, my business life, my family life, whatever? Start to bring it top of mind. What I'm trying to share with you all through this whole fifth quarter project programming is this is a learning project. It's a learning project for a piece of knowledge that I know works only because I've lived it. Again, I wrote my own book about it, but I've lived it. I've lived it for decades. And again, I've worked with, I don't know how many thousands of people, most of whom do not know or recognize this stuff. They're taught to take on interviews in a very, if he says this, you say that. This is about you. This is about the value you bring. Some of the value you bring is, frankly, sometimes just your energy, your emotion, your authenticity, all of this. So, long winded way to say, please do your writing. Please open your book of you and start to write your story. You were born here, whatever your circumstances were and have been along the way. Talk about them, write to them, your successes, your failures, your wish I could go backs. We're going to get to all of this as we dig deeper into the rest of the process. But for right now, trust me when I tell you, we can't really go deeper. You can't go deeper. I can go deeper. I can keep just talking. But I want to teach. I want to help. I want it to impact you in a way that you ultimately get it. And it translates to what you want to do next. So that's my story. I'm sticking to it. Please allow me to introduce myself. I'm Richie Cunningham. This is my wife, Oprah, or the Rolling Stones, but you've got to be able to talk about you. And the best way I know how to do it is start by writing in your journal, in your book of you. So if you're having trouble, you should go back to the beginning and read what you wrote was unique about yourself. If I didn't make that clear, I will in some upcoming slides. I think I did, but I don't want to just assume. So, questions, of course, you can write in the group. Comments, you can write in the group. We are scheduled again for tomorrow at noon Pacific. And I hope this helps, but again, urging, imploring, and begging. One knee. Have a great day, everybody. I hope this makes sense, and feel free to write to me with any questions. Okay? Thanks. Stay well, everybody.